your financial goal?
You want more money? Turn what you know into dough. Start hanging out with the people who have it. You create wealth on your own terms. It is not only your rights, but your duty to build wealth.
You are fiscally fabulous,
And it's time to enjoy your legacy.
You're listening to Fiscally Fabulous with Dr. Teresa R. Martin, Esquire, a podcast that aims to provide you with the tools, guidance, and encouragement you need to build your wealth, enjoy your wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. Dr. Martin is an accomplished attorney, speaker, business consultant, and real estate strategist, an all-around self-made success who provides highly sought-after expert consulting in the creation, growth, and maintenance of generational wealth.
Well, welcome to the Fiscally Fabulous Podcast, the place where we empower you with the tools and strategies to scale your business and achieve financial independence. You know who I am. I'm your host, Dr. T, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Steve Earl. And Steve is the actual founder of Investors Agent Academy. And Steve has revolutionized real estate investment landscape with his innovative Moneyball Real Estate System. He's transforming countless lives through his tailored investment strategies. And I definitely want to make sure you get a hold and grab the vision so you too can start investing in investment grade real estate. So welcome to the show, Steve.
Wow, I'm super happy to be here, Teresa. You know, our history goes back many, many years, I think 12, 13 plus years now. And it's been fun to watch you build and develop your business out there on the East Coast and to do things at a scale and level that is pretty phenomenal. And I'm grateful for the chance to talk with you today.
This is going to be amazing because I've been really teasing the idea and everyone thinks they have to invest in their backyard. You know, they go into all the boot camps and everything and they say you got to invest in your own backyard. They're trying to wholesale, they're trying to flip and all that good stuff. So I definitely wanted this conversation to be had, especially here on the Fiscally Fabulous Podcast. But Steve, before we jump into too much, I want you to basically share a little bit about your journey because your career is truly inspiring, right? So share a little bit about your journey and what led you to create the Moneyball Real Estate System.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Teresa. So, gosh, you know, almost 20 years ago, I was a painting contractor. I was in the construction industry. When I was in college, I started a little painting company and I painted in the summers and then, you know, went to school in the winters. And when I graduated the degree in business management, I was like, man, maybe I should do something with this. And so I really decided to build my painting company. And I did for about 10 years. And I turned it into one of the larger painting contracting companies here in my area. And in the last few years that I owned it, I began flipping homes. And I began to really understand and appreciate real estate. And in fact, one of my clients owned hundreds and hundreds of apartment units, and he became kind of a mentor to me. And the more I got to know and understand real estate, the more I came to love the idea. And I remember feeling like that was really the path I wanted to take. So in 2004, I was fortunate enough to sell my painting company and walk away with just enough money to begin really investing, you know, kind of seriously in real estate, flipping homes. I figured I could flip a handful of homes every year and make a good living. And you know what? That's exactly what it turned into. It turned into another job.
Right.
And it wasn't really investing. And my mentor quickly, you know, he was like, hey, this is really cool what you're doing, Steve. But if you really want to create wealth in real estate, you need to hold the properties long term. And I was like, I got it. Thank you. I appreciate that. But the great thing about having started flipping homes is I was working with other real estate agents. And quite frankly, they weren't really investors agents. They didn't know any more about real estate than I did. In fact, I knew a lot more, I think, by that point. But what was interesting is what I recognized as an investor flipping homes is I was putting up all the capital. I was taking all of the risk. I was the only one getting my hands dirty. And at the end of the day, my real estate agent was making more on these flips than I was. And so I was like, wait a minute, you know, maybe I should get my real estate license as well. And I did. And it was about that same time that, I got this good advice to hold on to properties long term. And so I started really doing that, and I stopped flipping homes. And what's interesting is I didn't have enough money to find to buy all of the good deals that I was finding. And so I thought, well, maybe I could help some of my friends and family do the same thing. And in fact, I had some of my friends and family coming to me as I started holding the properties and saying, hey, I see what you're doing. It's like, could you help me? And so I did start helping them. But when I decided to kind of take it beyond my friends and family, I created something called the Earle Report, which was simply a weekly newsletter where I would list out like the top 10 properties that I thought were good opportunities to buy. And along the way, I started helping more and more people. But this is the crazy thing, Teresa, is that like, I don't know what it is, but I have like this kind of like really huge conscience, and I always feel responsible for everybody else. And so like my customers, my clients, I was helping them to buy real estate. And then like a month or two later, I'd be like, hey, how's it going? They're like, I haven't even been able to get anybody out to pay my house yet. I haven't been able to do this. I don't have it rented yet. And I was like, man, like somehow I got to be able to help these people not only buy the real estate, but I need to be able to figure out like, how do I help them succeed with it post-purchase? And so I started putting together more of a system where I kind of vertically integrated my services to where I could provide, the lending and the property management and the rehab and all of the different things that they would need. Because here's the thing. I think that there are real estate investors, but most people are not real estate investors, but they still want to own an investment real estate.
Correct.
There's more of those people out there. They're everywhere. And that's the opportunity right now for real estate agents to really get into the world of becoming an investor's agent. And so one thing led to another, and here I am today, 20 years later, I've helped my clients purchase more than 5,000 long-term investment properties. I've got clients in 42 different states. I've got 8 different markets where I've got the infrastructure all set up to be able to help them purchase real estate. And it was just recently, Teresa, that in this last year, that has been like super, super difficult, that I felt like I was like on a mission to kind of really change things up. Because what I discovered when I reviewed a recent report is that of the 1.6 million real estate agents out there, more than half, well, just under half, did less than one transaction.
Right. Okay.
70% did fewer than 5. And that's just crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy. And here's the other thing, is that on the investor side, it's been so phenomenal. It's been so phenomenal. Like the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I've helped invest in real estate and own real estate investments, it has been one of the most fulfilling things in my entire life, because I've seen people who, with just one property, it has transformed their whole like hope for the future, and it has transformed their financial lives. And so when I talk to somebody, it's not about helping them buy one investment property. It's about helping them build a 10 property portfolio. Yes. And that's the whole goal. And that's what I love about what you're doing, Teresa, is that you talk all about like creating generational wealth. Well, that's what this is. I call it something a little bit different. I call it economic independence, but it's the same thing, because all of the benefits that come along with real estate are so powerful that they go beyond like our lifespan.
Yes.
And we can get into some of those specifics, but we can create that economic independence for ourselves, and we can create that generational wealth for our heirs, if that's what we choose to do with those properties at one point. And so this past year, I'm on this mission where we need collectively as a country for more regular, hardworking Americans to own investment real estate. And I am a drop in the bucket. Like I do 200 to 300 transactions per year, me and my small team.
Don't drop in a bucket, Steve. 300. When the average only does one, you're dropping in a bucket with 300. Okay.
But compared to the larger whole, we need more people. We need tens of thousands. We need hundreds of thousands of people, of Americans, investing in real estate and making it a part of their lives. And so I thought to myself, like, what can I do to help other agents take advantage of this? Because here's the other thing is that real estate agents tend to succeed more when they specialize. And there's lots of really great specializations. There's luxury home buying and luxury home, that whole market. And then there's primary home buyers. And then there's, you can farm a community and do listings. Whatever your special, you need a specialty. And in my mind, there's not a better one than becoming like a real estate investment specialist, because of the 1.6 million real estate agents, only 5% of us can say that we are real estate investment specialists. Last year in 2023, of the more than 5 million transactions that took place, 26% of them were real estate investment related. Like, there is massive opportunity. And here's the other thing is we don't even have to tap into those 1.3 million deals or the 5 million deals like the total. We can create our own deals because there are people who want to own investment real estate everywhere. They're everywhere. You show up at like a Chamber of Commerce meeting and somebody asks you, hey, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I help people invest in real estate. And they're like, what? And they start asking you questions. Before you know it, you got like 5 people surrounding you, asking you questions because they all want to invest in real estate. They don't know how. They don't have the time. They don't have the team. They don't have the expertise. They just don't even know how to get started. And so if you have the ability to have that conversation and to do it with some expertise and with some confidence and provide like a pathway and the basic steps, I promise you, like, it's 75% of my business right now, it doesn't come from marketing. It comes from repeat customers and from their referrals. 75% of my business. The other 25% comes from my very robust marketing efforts, but 75% that repeat business, like that's why in one of the worst real estate agent economies in history, like last year, there were fewer transactions last year for real estate agents than there was during the Great Recession.
Wow.
There were 2 million less transactions in 2023 than there were in 2021. Like as real estate agents, like it's a really tough time, but if you have repeat business because people trust and like you, they're going to keep buying. And then the reality is right now in the history of our country, there's probably never been a better time to be investing in properties in the right markets with the right strategy. And they succeed, literally every single time. So like the opportunity is huge, even though transactions are down. Like if you are a real estate agent, you can add real estate investment to your business, or you can make it your whole business, or just to become an expert. And that's why I created the Investors Agent Academy.
For many women entrepreneurs, the struggle is real. We arose becoming stronger with every fight. Wealth is what we built from that together. A wealth of resources, a wealth of knowledge, and a wealth of powerful businesswomen. When you are ready to achieve financial freedom and become fiscally fabulous, call. It will not be wealth that empowered your success. It will be this call. EnjoyYourLegacy.com, 646-437-7139.
So that was a really long answer to.
No, that was great because it fed right into what I wanted everyone to listen to, what it is that you do, especially from, the real estate investor side and apart from the real estate investor agent side. Because if you are a real estate agent who want to or is currently investing in real estate, or you are an investor agent who happens to represent investor clients, then this is still something that I want them to hear how you were able to do it, how you went from a paint company to an agent to now creating this wonderful, powerful system. And now that you mention it, let's just jump into the Investors Agent Academy, and tell us a little bit more about its mission and how it supports real estate agents into becoming investment strategists.
Yeah, you bet. So I totally get that. So the ultimate goal of the Investors Agent Academy is to empower more real estate agents to add investment real estate to their business, to help them do more transactions, to help them be able to help more regular people invest in real estate. Okay. So like that is the overarching goal of the Investors Agent Academy. And so there's different levels to it. So like the basic entrance to the Investors Agent Academy, like everything is free. Like you can take the Investors agent master certification course. Like my goal is to empower agents and to empower as many as I possibly can. And so this is a very unique course. Like if you've ever taken well, of course, if you're a real estate agent, you've taken continuing education. And I mean, if you can just stay awake during those courses, like you're doing well. Because they're often not super well done. They're a little bit dry sometimes. And you just kind of why, you have to take these subjects that you're like, why? Like, why am I learning this? And I don't mean to disparage it at all because it's all important. Right. But what happens is that they talk about all of the compliance stuff, everything that is really important, but it's only important if you're doing deals. And so what I do in the Investors Agent Academy is I show you how to do investment deals. I show you how to have those conversations with your clients and how to engage them and how to move forward. So the master certification course, I think there's 7 lessons and there's multiple modules within each lesson. And it starts out with the very basics of what is an investor's agent. And it provides checklists. It provides, where do you find a good deal? What is a good deal? How do you go through the whole process to make it as smooth of a transaction for your client as possible? Like it's all laid out there for you in this master certification course, which is totally free. You can go to investorsagent.com and right on that main page, you don't even have to log into the Investors Agent Academy. You just go in, you can find that course and take that for free. And so that is the overarching goal, is to just empower real estate agents to add investment real estate to their business. And if you get a little bit more serious about it, then there's some other tools and there's some other things that you can do to do even more. Because what I've done over the past 15 plus years in being an investor's agent, I've created all kinds of tools and resources. And I've created something that I call the Moneyball Real Estate System. And what this is it's a platform and it's a framework for how I can help regular, ordinary people who don't know very much about real estate invest in real estate using my services, or any agent who understands the Moneyball Real Estate System can do the exact same thing that I'm doing. And so the Moneyball Real Estate System, essentially the basic philosophy is, in America, it's kind of like there's this sentiment of go big or go home. Right. Hitting for the fences. Like we're all about hitting home runs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you are just a regular hardworking American and you've done everything in your power over the course of years, save up enough money for a down payment on an investment property, like you got one shot. Like if you blow it, it's going to be years before you get to swing that bat again. And so we have the philosophy of Moneyball, which if you've ever seen the movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, it's this idea of just the Oakland A's, years ago, they went from a swinging for the fences mentality. They looked for players who could just get on base any way they could, bunting it, getting hit by a fastball, hitting, whatever it took to get on base. And so that's our objective. It's, hey, hit a single, get on base. Then a few years later, hit another single, get on base, and you hit enough singles and you win the game. And the whole goal, my whole objective in the Moneyball Real Estate System is to get to that 10 property portfolio, which is really interesting. We have many, many clients who have achieved that. And something interesting happens at that 10th property. And doors open up wide because of how much equity and cash flow you've created at that point. And for many of them, it just started with that first property. So the Moneyball Real Estate System, it's very comprehensive, but that's the basic philosophy. Hitting singles, and over the course of 10 to 20 years, you create a portfolio of 10 properties worth millions of dollars. I could show you case study after case study where our clients have accomplished that, to where, like, for a regular American, like with their, call it a 401k or their retirement plan, so many people, they work for 20, 30 plus years, and they've got a couple $100,000 that's going to be gone in a couple of years. The whole goal here is to create a replacement of your income, is to create cash flow. And yes, you have this wealth that you've created with these properties and all of your equity. 15, 20 years from now, it's worth millions. And what you've created in a very short period of time is millions. But the real key is that cash flow, because that's the whole goal. Like it's about like the spendable cash that you're creating. And so that is the Moneyball Real Estate System. That's the philosophy of it. And then there's a whole framework within that Moneyball Real Estate System that facilitates the ability of a real estate agent to, like I mentioned to you earlier, Teresa, that I have clients in 42 different states. Mm-hmm. And I live in Utah. I haven't helped anybody buy real estate in Utah for years. It's all out of state. And so I'll have a client living in, say, like Alaska or Hawaii or New York, buying a property in Florida or Oklahoma City or Memphis or one of the other places, and working with one of my coaches here in Utah. And it's this seamless system. Now, 90+% of my clients have never physically seen their homes, their properties, and they've owned them for many, many years. And they've had all of this, great success from it. And so the Moneyball Real Estate System is part of what you get to license when you are part of the Investors Agent Academy. And in fact, there's the Moneyball Real Estate National Fulfillment Team. It's the same team that I created it, but I tap into that exact same team, and it's now available. This team has massive excess capacity, and it's now available to members of the Investors Agent Academy. Like it's one of the greatest opportunities, because you as a real estate agent now, you have the ability to, let's say, like Teresa, I mean, better than anyone, living in New York City, it's pretty tough for regular people, investors, for a myriad of reasons. And being able to introduce your clients into the National Fulfillment Team, into the Moneyball Real Estate National Fulfillment Team, they now take and work with your client and help them purchase a property elsewhere. They do all of the work, and I won't go through like all of the steps, but they do all of the work. They get that client into a property, and then they're working with them post-purchase. Property management's all taken care of. They meet with them twice per year to help them continue to move their portfolio forward. And you as the real estate agent, it is your client. It doesn't become their client.
That was the main point, Steve. That's what I want. I want people to understand that by tapping into the fulfillment team, and now you're calling it something really sexy, right? But when my team was doing it, because I've been using the system for forever, and now everybody knows my secret, who I use. But it's okay. It's okay. I can share. But they stay your client. They stay connected to you through their first property, second, third, whatever the case may be. They're always your client. You don't lose that client. Can you just hit home and reiterate that?
Yeah. So this is one of the beautiful things about the National Fulfillment Team is like they're detached, right? They're the team. It's your client, and they are literally your team. This is Teresa's team, and they go to work with your client. They help them purchase that property. They help them optimize it post-purchase. They work with them over the course of many, many years. And every single time that client purchases a property, you as the real estate agent are earning a 30% commission of the buyer's agent commission on that property. But you've literally done like none of the actual fulfillment work. The team is doing that for you. And this has been the most interesting thing, Teresa, for me, is that the more real estate that your clients have purchased, I feel like the more connected they become to you, and anything local that you're doing, they're coming to you because they're engaged in investing in real estate, and they know that it's your team. And so they're coming back to you and they're asking you questions about things, and you're still their main resource. And so whenever there's an opportunity that's local, or they have a family member who needs to like buy or sell a property local, they're coming to you. And they're doing it because they're so engaged in the real estate world that they're like, you are more top of mind to them. And the conversations that you have with them are actually like greater, like you have more of them, and they just feel more connected to you. And you also get like the credit for the success that they're having with their real estate investments. Now, here's the thing I mentioned earlier, kind of in my story, that when I first started doing this, my friends and family who I helped buy properties, they then started having all kinds of issues, right? After they purchased the home, they didn't know how to get it rented. They didn't know how to fix it up. Well, the team, your national team, they're doing all of that for them. They're staying in contact with them. They're not calling you with the problems that they're having. They're calling the team.
Right.
And if there's ever like a property management issue, we're so, the national team is so integrated with the property management team that it's like the right hand knows what the left hand is doing, and the team is able to help kind of facilitate and work any issues out if there are any issues. And along the way, the team consists of specialists who help take them through a process of helping them to move forward to actually purchase those next properties, do 1031 exchanges or refinances, and they're staying in contact and just like massaging that whole process for you. Like that's part of that you get access to with the national team, is they are an extension of you. And they are dealing with all of the issues that come up along the way. You're not getting overwhelmed with those types of things.
And I like the fact also, Steve, when you mentioned that, and, I really just love this. And I really hope all the agents out there, they're really looking to see how they can add value by, jumping into the investment grade real estate side, however they want to play. So this is really awesome. But one of the things I do want to touch upon, because as you know, we're dealing with this NAR settlement and all that stuff. So I would be remiss if I don't bring that up, because there will be someone who is listening who will, say, well, how does the fulfillment team, or how does this affect or come into play, in light of the NAR settlement? What would you say to that?
Yeah. So there's two things. So there's two ways that you can take advantage of the Moneyball Real Estate System within the Investors Agent Academy. One, you can take the whole system and you can just do it yourself. Like if you live in an area where it makes sense to invest, let's say that you live in Indianapolis, which is a great market to be implementing the Moneyball Real Estate System, and you just wanted to do it yourself. Like by all means, you will have all of the resources that you need in order to do that. Like everything, like I've downloaded not just my knowledge, but all of my tools and resources and my property analysis and my calculators, and all those different things are available for you in the Investors Agent Academy. And you can do it yourself, or you can tap into and introduce your clients to the national fulfillment team, and they will do it for you. In either scenario, one of the things that the national team does is they charge what's called a teams fee. The teams fee it's like this, the team is coordinating all of the licensed professionals required to complete a deal. And if you're doing it yourself in your own neighborhood, then you become that coordinator, and you're adding and providing massive value to your customers. So one of the things that we do is that we lead with the teams fee. We help our clients understand that we're going to do 95% of the heavy lifting, and you're going to keep 100% of the profit. So you own the property yourself 100%. And so we have this like list of everything that the team does, right? It's this massive list of like 150 hours of work that they do on one transaction versus the 10 hours that it takes the client during the transaction, as far as like getting pre-approved and signing documents and signing contracts and that kind of a thing, right? And so on a long-term rental, the team's fee is $6,995. It's a buyer paid commission, and we charge that on every deal. And I've never had pushback on it. Like when our clients see what the value that we're bringing to the table, and when they see on the property analysis, because that team's fee is clearly disclosed, it's transparent, it's part of every property that we present to a client. It's part of the property analysis, and they can see where it is, and they can see, okay, this is what, the team is charging me, but in 5 to 7 years or 10 years from now, this is like how much I'm going to make. I've got this. If you can provide 10 times value to your clients, they're not going to have any issue paying you. And we can show on every property analysis, and I'm conservative on these property analysis, that there's a 10 times value every single time within that 10-year period of time. And so whether you're having the national team do it, or whether if you do it yourself, you need to be charging that team's fee in addition to earning the buyer's agent commission. So the national team, the way that they get paid is they earn the team's fee, but then they also receive a percentage of, so we have agents who are on our team in each of the different markets where we help our clients buy. They charge a buyer's agent commission. Now, there's some question with the NAR settlement. Well, are people actually going to be able to, are agents still going to be able to charge, a fee to the seller to get paid? I don't know ultimately what the new normal is going to look like. I've done a lot of research with this. I've attended multiple webinars and seminars from experts and attorneys and the NAR themselves on this whole subject. And I'm convinced that the new normal with the NAR settlement is not going to be too much different in terms of like how we're compensated. Like we're gonna have to do things differently from how we what we get paid is not going to be very different, but how we go about doing it is going to change. So we're going to have to, in our buyer's agency agreements, that's going to have to happen up front. We can no longer kind of do that after the fact. And we're going to have to negotiate with the seller beforehand. And any agent, any listing agent who really gets it and is a good listing agent is going to prepare their client and help them understand that, look, you're going to have way more opportunities to sell your home if you offer commission to a buyer's agent, because there are millions of agents, or there are hundreds of thousands of agents out there with clients who are ready, willing, and able to buy, who will never see your home if you're not offering some kind of a commission. And so from that standpoint, I think a lot of that will be the same, but just kind of how we go about doing it and connect those dots from a paper and documentation and legal standpoint, that's the part that's going to change a little bit. But the basic structure, I believe, will stay the same. But through the Investors Agent Academy, you will learn all about the team's fee and how by demonstrating and showing to your prospective customers everything that you're going to do for them. Not only are they going to want to do business with you, they're going to be willing to pay extra for it. I've done this now, Teresa, literally like thousands and thousands of times. And I've never had an issue post-purchase with anybody paying that team's fee. And it's collected on the settlement statement. It's just part of the whole, transaction process. And when people recognize that the value that you brought to the table, when you actually do what you say you were going to do,
right?
People are happy. They're happy to pay it. They have no issue with it. And so as far as like the NAR settlement and how that's going to affect all of this, ultimately the end result I don't think is going to change. And in fact, for agents who really take I'll call it advantage of the opportunity, I think that there's a greater opportunity to truly show the value that you can bring to the table, and you can actually earn more in the new normal than you were before.
There are 3 kinds of attorneys in the world. Those who make great punchlines, those who can help solve a case, and then there's the law offices of Teresa R. Martin, PC. Teresa has built an empire designed to grow businesses, empower individuals, and strengthen communities. Get an attorney in real estate and business who knows and understands how to eliminate debt, not add to it. So much has changed in the world, and reasons for legal counsel are many. Just remember, with the law offices of Teresa R. Martin, PC, you walk in looking for solutions, but when you walk out with a growth mission and a support network. martinlegal.com.
And I think that that's the biggest thing too, as far as when you're shifting from a mindset. So even with everything about, what the sellers are willing to pay to a buyer's agent to bring buyers and things of that sort versus the buyer's agent themselves and adding the value to your client. Because I promise you that I do not have issue from any of my investor clients worrying about the team's fee or anything else that I do, because my value is there. Yes. And I pack in the value. So whether or not the seller is willing to pay or what have you, my clients, I'm going to get paid from my clients because I'm representing them and I'm giving them the value. So I don't look so much at it from that standpoint. Now, it would be nice if that would happen, but I think we have to talk about mindset too, right? Because, what we're looking at from an investor agent standpoint is the value add, right? And would investors or people who are looking for, investor grade real estate, so it doesn't have to be an investor per se, but anyone looking for investment grade real estate, my question would be, would you want to go to a new market self, or would you want to, have a done for you, or done with you, however you want to look at it, team that's going to help you all the way through the process, post-process, and then, checking in with you, as you change, as the market changes to see, what you want to do. Do you want to roll some of that equity into a second property, a third property, a fourth property, what have you? So I think we really need to start thinking a little bit different when it comes to opportunities, not just for ourselves, but for our clients, and creating that win-win scenario. If we're talking about that, which when we're talking about win-win scenario, that leads me into your book, Micro Wins to Millions, the Investor's Agent Blueprint. Can you just share a little bit about that? I don't want to hold you too much, but that is something I definitely want us to hit on about why you wrote that book and what's in that book, and then everything else that you provide to investor agents, with this wonderful, wonderful economy that we have right now.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up and give me the opportunity to just chat about the book for a minute. The Micro Wins to Millions, the Investor's Agent Blueprint, is me, opening up everything that I know about helping people who want to own investment real estate. And it's the accumulation of the 15 plus years that I've been doing this, the 5,000 plus transactions that I've done, the resources, the tools, everything is in the book. And I kind of lay it out for an agent can take that. And it truly is. It's a blueprint for any agent to be able to take and to duplicate what I have been doing. And here's kind of the beauty of it. Like, I'm a big believer in this concept of if I knew then what I know today, I would be decades ahead of where I am today. That's what I do with my investor clients, my clients who want to invest in real estate. I take all my knowledge and experience and I help them skip all of the pitfalls and all of the challenges and all of the failures. They get to skip and bypass all of that and succeed right away. I'll just share hopefully a 1 minute story. My son, when he was 16, he came to me, he's like, "Hey Dad, I want to invest in real estate." And I was like, "Well, you better start saving some money then." So he did. For the next 4 years, he saved up enough money for a down payment. And this was back in 2011, right after the crash. So he saved enough money. He only needed $20,000 because I helped him buy a property in Arizona. The values had dropped so great there that he bought a home for $86,000. So 20% down was like $16,000. He had some for a little bit of fix up that he did, and he owned that property for a couple of years. He cash flowed along the way. In a couple of years, he's like, "Hey Dad, should I sell my home now and pay for school?" I was like, "Well, what's your goal?" I was like, "Well, I want to own like 8 properties." I was like, "Okay, well then don't sell it. Why don't you refinance it?" So he refinanced it, and he bought, with the refinance, he bought 2 more properties. One of them he bought where he was going to school. He lived in the basement, rented the upstairs, and lived for free. Long story short, then he went off to after he graduated from college, he went off to law school. And after he graduated, 4 years later, he's able to he sold 1 property, refinanced 2 more, and bought like 4 more. So he had a total of 7 doors. And then he bought a primary residence that he then moved out of to go off to work as an attorney out in New York. And so he got his 8 doors. By the time he was 30 years old, he had 8 doors. He'd taken that $20,000 and in 10 years, in just under 10 years, turned that into hundreds. And I'm telling you, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity and a few $1,000s a month in cash flow. And that's not a unique story. That is the path that we're helping, our clients take. And so that's the whole idea of being able to, like, could he have ever done that on his own without, me helping him? It's like, as smart as he is, because he's smarter than I am. No, he couldn't have, because he would have made all kinds of mistakes along the way, just like I did. But he got to skip most of those and succeed along the way. That's what we've done with our clients. And that's what I'm trying to do right now with Investors Agent Academy and with the Investors Agent Blueprint is you get to take all of my knowledge, experience, failures, all of that, and skip all of those things and go straight to, success and know what to say, when to say, how to say it, and how to do the transaction and where to buy and what to buy and what not to buy and all of these different things. And so it literally is that blueprint for you to be able to do what I just said, which is, if I knew then what I know today, I would be decades ahead. You get to skip those decades and you get to become an investor's agent, somebody with really good savvy. You get to license my experience per se, and immediately within, weeks and months instead of years, be up to speed and helping your customers, your clients successfully invest in real estate. And that's the goal of the Investors Agent Blueprint, is to expedite the ability of regular agents who want to add investment real estate to their business. You can do it very, very quickly. Now, one thing I will say, Teresa, is like a lot of times people think, oh, well, this is a magic bullet. And if I just read the book or, I'll magically, have all of this overnight success. I'm a big believer that, you got to work hard at whatever it is that you do. There's the 80-20 rule. And I don't know why it is, but 20% of the people do 80% of the work and reap 80% of the reward. And I think it's those people who are willing to dive in, who are willing to sacrifice, willing to sweat, willing to really learn and figure this stuff out. If you do a casual reading of the Investors Agent Blueprint, you'll learn some really good stuff. I think that you'll be benefited from it. But if you really want to take your business to the next level, you can digest it and you can learn it and you can ask questions and you can go to Teresa and ask her questions, and you can go to the Investors Agent Academy and take the certification course. And there's all kinds of things that you can do to take your business to a whole new level. If all that book did, Teresa, is help you do one more deal, would it be worth reading? Right. And in my mind, it's well, that's kind of a no-brainer.
No-brainer, right?
And I think that it could actually help you do multiple additional transactions, because you will be in a position, you will have the ability to have meaningful conversations with people who you never would have even had a conversation with about real estate, because you read the book, you knew what to say when they asked you the question, hey, what's the market like? They just opened the door, right? It's kind of like you asked me one question and you can't hardly get me to stop speaking, because there's just so much right here that I could just go on and on and on. And when you're talking with somebody, who doesn't really know that much, and all of a sudden, wow, this is my go-to person. Hey, do you have a card? I'm going to call you. And guess what? When they go home, they're going to talk to their wife. When they have family dinner on Sunday with their brothers or sisters, or they invite some friends over, they're going to be like, holy cow, did you guys realize that? And all of a sudden, it just kind of expands, and it never ceases to amaze me. Every day, Teresa, I call it magic. My phone magically rings every single day with somebody who's like, hey, I was reading this. hey, I was talking to this person. They said I should talk to you. Hey, and I'm like, people are having conversations about me. They're having conversations about the Moneyball Real Estate System. They're having conversations about real estate investment, and my name comes up, or Moneyball Real Estate comes up, or my book comes up, or whatever the case might be. And that's exactly what will happen to you. And the other reason why I call it micro wins, micro wins to millions, is because the investor's agent blueprint isn't about becoming, it's not hitting a home run today. Right. It's, as a real estate agent, you're just doing one deal at a time. You're making, a few $1,000s every transaction, and those build and they build and they build. And before you know it, you've micro-winned yourself as a real estate agent to millions.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that it's different than what most people think. Like you mentioned, it's not trying to hit that home run, right? It's really just trying to get on base and start, going around the mound, with those singles. And when you look up, because I have clients, who have used the system and they have multiplied their way to wealth, right? So they started with 1, some started with 2, and then got to 4. Some started with 1 and went to 2, and then so on and so on. So it does work. And I have the clientele to prove, that the system works. But this, for real estate investor agents, is something that's, so powerful in and of itself, because I always used to tease all the time. You know why they call them real estate brokers? Because they broker than you, right? So I always said that, because you're not really making money.
Yeah.
Right? So,
that's hilarious.
So
well, Teresa, I would even say, just real quick, so my book is it's on Amazon.com. It's on Audible. But if you go to Amazon, if you search, obviously there's 1 million books on real estate investing. There are a dime a dozen. There's tons of them. But if you look for a book for real estate agents on how to help investors or how to help people own investment real estate, the Investor's Agent Blueprint is the only one there. There's nothing. So I wonder sometimes, it's like, well, no wonder real estate agents aren't succeeding. There's no content. There's no material for them to help them know and understand how they can help their customers and their clients succeed in the investment game. Yeah. Real estate, it's about relationships. It's about belly to belly. And so if you can empower a real estate agent, that's powerful right there. That is more powerful than somebody else going out there and reading 10 books on how to invest in real estate. If they know the guy or the gal that knows how to do it, they're going to go to you. They're going to go and it's easier for them to be told as opposed to go to seminars and pay for seminars and read stuff. And so it's literally the only book available, maybe in the whole world, for real estate agents.
I love it. I love it. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because one, I want to thank you so much for, and I know you're my friend and you're, but I know you're busy. You're out there saving lives and putting people in homes and creating generational wealth, singles at a time. And so I do want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience and your expertise on real estate investing, because it's so invaluable and I don't take it lightly. And I want to thank you also for always providing invaluable resources, especially this Investors Agent Academy, which you are offering to people, and they can get access to so much, the certifications and all that, the book and all that, at no cost to them to get started. But you've provided our listeners, with incredible insights on how they can transform their real estate careers. And I want to thank you for that. So with all of that we've shared today, and it was a lot, and I know that it was invaluable for everyone listening, because it was also invaluable to me, and I'm interested, right? But where can listeners, find you, and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So you can go to investorsagentacademy.com to learn all kinds of stuff. And in fact, there's a lot of information about me on that website. I will tell you right now, I'm pretty accessible. And I will give everyone my email. It's steve@investorsagent.com. Would love to hear from anybody who has any questions. Happy to answer any questions. Happy to jump on if you happen to have a podcast, or if you happen to work with customers or clients or other agents. If you're a broker and you've got agents and you need some help, happy to jump on and help you as well. And I'm super grateful to you, Teresa, for having me on and for being my friend for so many years and putting up with me. It's been fun. My son lives out there in New York now, so I've had a chance to come and visit you a couple of times, when I'm out visiting him, and it's been super great. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. And this has been fantastic. So thank you again, Steve, for joining us today. But I just want to say to my Fiscally Fabulous listeners out there, I want to thank you for tuning in. And I want to make sure that if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to Fiscally Fabulous Podcast and leave us a review. But until next time, I want you to stay and remain fiscally fabulous. Bye now.
See ya.
This has been Fiscally Fabulous with Dr. Teresa R. Martin, Esquire. If you would like to learn more on how you can build generational wealth and leave a lasting legacy, go to www.enjoyyourlegacy.com and be sure to subscribe. Thank you for listening. Until next time.